So during the labor process, they come in, the nurse comes in and she gives you the IV. And the first nurse, I don't want to say that I purposely annoyed them or intimidated them, but I wanted to know everything. I wanted to know, what is this? Why? What do I need this for? One of the nurses was like, well, normally people don't ask this many questions. They just let us do our job, or they don't ask questions at all. And I was like, well, I'm not that person, because I want to know what's going into my body, what's my baby gonna, what is happening to us. So they started the IV process took a little minute, because that nurse, she was just like, look, I can't do this. This lady's making me too nervous. She's sticking me all wrong. And I'm like, you're hurting me, So they finally called in the real deal. The anesthesiologist came in and she got the IV right in my hand so quickly. So that process, it was funny now that I think about it. After that, they started the fluid. Now they sent a new nurse in. And this nurse, she must have got mad at me for some strange reason or another, because I asked her questions. She started the fluid. Now the fluid that goes into our bodies, it helps to keep us hydrated so we won't get dehydrated during the labor process. The fluid starts at 125. So you have this big bag of fluid that goes into you, and it's supposed to drip slowly. But this nurse, I don't know, maybe she was trying to get me back or whatever, because I knew that she knew that she did not put this machine together right. She didn't allow it to drip slowly. She purposely let it drip fast. So I went through a bag of fluid within not even an hour. Within 25 minutes, I went through a bag of fluid. And I told her, no way you're giving me another one. No way you're giving me another bag of fluid. So she was like, well, I don't know what happened. And they told her I didn't want no more fluid. So they had to call the doctor and let her know I was, saying that I didn't want any more fluid and this and that. She was like, well, that's fine. She has enough in her body right now. So after the fluid, they started talking to me about the next process and what was about to happen. So first, they started the Pitocin. The Pitocin started, and they wanted to see how well the baby will react to the Pitocin. They started the Pitocin at 4 p.m. and I started feeling contractions right away. It was instant. So they didn't leave it on too long. They wound up turning it off at 5:40ish, and at 5:45 they started the cervidil. Now the cervidil process, it softens the cervix, and you may dilate. That's what they say. So the cervidil process started at 5:45, and it's supposed to stay in you for 12 hours. The contractions were back to back to back to back to back. I kept having contractions. Some of them were mild, but then it started getting up there. During the cervidil process, throughout that night, I could not sleep at all. I was up peeing felt like every 5 seconds I was getting up peeing, going to the restroom. And at one point at a time, during the wee hours of the night, I wound up having to make bowel movements over and over. And it's so funny because my boyfriend was like, are you okay? I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I just hope that the baby about to come, because I'm feeling all of these different things going on. Like, I don't understand. Then I wound up throwing up and being a bowel movement at the same time. It was crazy. And he was like, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. Just rub my back. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. But in his mind, he was just like, I have never seen this a day in my life. Poor thing. Okay, so they wound up giving me some nausea medicine because I threw up. My baby is trying to use it. You trying to poo poo, mama? Hi, Zubug. You trying to poo poo? She's grunting. I don't know if you can hear her. But anyway, they gave me the nausea medicine. The nausea medicine helped. They put it in through the IV. So by the next morning, it was 6 a.m. They wound up taking the cervidil out, and checking me to see if I dilated, and I dilated 1 centimeter. At first they were saying I only dilated a half of a centimeter, but I actually dilated to 1 centimeter. So that was good because I was hoping it was doing something. I mean, and I'm not gonna lie, at one point in the middle of the morning, I was like, man, I hope I'm dilated at least 3 centimeters, because I was having contractions back to back. I wasn't having a break. I did not sleep none. So I hadn't been up a whole day by this point. Right before they checked me, I hadn't been up a whole day. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope I'm dilated. But they told me I was only dilated 1 centimeter. But I was glad with that because I'm like, at least I got somewhere. I'm just glad I'm not at nothing. So after the Cervidil was taken out, they started the Pitocin. The Pitocin started at 6:45 a.m. and it starts at 2. They start at 2 and oh, my mama is crying. So excuse me because she has to eat. She has to eat. So I'm gonna continue the video while she eats. So they started the Cervidil. No, I'm sorry. They started the Pitocin at 6:45 a.m. and the level it starts at is 2, and then it goes up by 2s. So this process now we getting somewhere. So this is Saturday, of course, August 20th. Hold on, gotta make sure she okay. You okay, mama? You okay? So the Cervidil started going. I mean, why I keep saying the Cervidil? So the Pitocin goes up by 2s. So it's supposed to be, now the lady told me it's supposed to be every 15 minutes they go up. But I told her, one of the nurses told me 30 minutes, which she did. And because I asked, of course, so when y'all start this Pitocin, how many times is it going to go up? And how long will it take for the next level to go up? And she told me 30 minutes. So I told the nurse who had to start the Pitocin process, I told her, she said 30. She said, well, since she said 30, we're gonna go with 30, but it's supposed to be 15. I said, well, thank you. So so it just kept going up every 30 minutes. And now it was I won't say it was painful in the beginning, because I was able to bear it up until it got to 10. Once it got to 10, I was it was beginning to become extremely painful. So they wind up checking me at what was it? They wind up checking me at 11 a.m. At 11 a.m. the Pitocin was at 8. So when they checked me, I was still at 1, which was very strange because I was having contractions and they were getting to be severe. So I wasn't understanding. So I just prayed and I kept praying. Even through every process that they started, every time they went up, I prayed and I asked God. I said, God, get us through this, please. I want to experience this childbirth naturally. I know I'm being induced, but I want to have a natural induction. So I kept praying. I said, Lord, next time they check me, let me be at this number. Let me be at this number. So once I got to 10, I was like, Lord, the next time they check me, please let me be at 7. Because I was just hoping that I would at least get through it faster, because it just seemed so painful. Like it just, oh my gosh, it was painful. It was. But I was trying my hardest and I kept thinking about my baby. I'm like, we have to get through this. We have to get through this. We are going to get through this together. So I wind up throwing up at 10 because it was beginning to, oh my gosh, I don't know if it was because I was so weak because I didn't eat. I don't know if it's because I didn't get any sleep, but so one of the nurses was about to leave and go home, and then they were sending in another. You okay? And then they sent in another nurse. And when they sent in this nurse, it was so crazy how now that I think about it, it was so magical how everything just happened after once the new nurse came in, and she came in with a person that was training. So when she came in, it was like a breath of fresh air, and it was that way because I remember her from teaching the childbirth education classes, and I noticed her right away, and I asked, I said, oh, you, I remember you from, now not during my contraction, of course, in the middle of me having that break, I was like, oh, I remember you from you know, the childbirth education class. And she was like, I think I remember you too. I remember you too. So you know, we talked for the time that I was able to talk, and she was a big help. She had she told me, you don't have to lay down, you know, while you're having your contractions. You can get up and walk around and move around and do things that's gonna be comfortable to you. It was just like everything she was telling me was so informative, and it helped so much because even though I knew, I wasn't thinking about doing all of that. And when she told me, you know, the things that I should do, it helped out a whole lot. Even though the contractions were still coming and it was still painful, it helped out a whole lot. And it helped me to pray more in the middle of my contractions. It helped me to talk to my baby and, you know, to remind myself that I can do this and I can get through it. Because at one point I did want to give up, and I wanted to, you know, get the medicine. But of course we're all gonna experience that. You're all, you know, even if you're trying to go natural, you're gonna experience that point where you're just like, I can't take it anymore. She wound up bringing in this I don't remember what it was. It was like a little, I'm gonna have to remember what's the name of it. I'm gonna have to look it up. Well, she brought in this little thing that you sit on the floor, and you sit on it and you open your legs and you just rock and you rock. And when you're rocking, you know, you can think more, you can concentrate more, you can breathe more. And it was just, everything that she did was so helpful to me. It was so helpful, and I'm so grateful for her. So I felt like that helped, because when I thought about it, I felt like that helped bring the baby down more because of the position that I was in. It helped, you know, with me rocking and sitting the way I was sitting. It helped to bring her down the birth canal a lot faster. After all of that happened, I wound up getting to level 14 on the Pitocin, and at this point it was about 2:15. So I got to level 14, and it just seemed like after that, I don't know what happened. It felt like I kind of blinked out for just a slight second, because I was just like, I need the drugs. I need it. It was like, you got so far, you can do this. You're almost at the finish line. You know, everybody, you know, trying to get me in a mindset to stay focused, and I was like, oh my gosh. But I'm grateful for them, because everybody that was in the room, my whole support, the people who were there to support me, they really got me through. At 14, that minute that I was giving up, I stood up for 1 second, and I was trying to, you know, lean on a bed and rock my little hips, and my water bag went boosh. And I just was like, in my mind, I was screaming, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But I couldn't say it because I was like in so much shock, because after the water bag bust, all them contractions was at the front door. You hear me? They was waiting for me. They came forceful. They came with a mission. So after that, I don't know how I ended up on a bed after that. I just know everything just started moving fast. Everybody started moving around the room fast, and the nurses and everybody just was like all over the place. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, turn that Pitocin off, turn it off, turn it off. And it was, oh my, yeah, after your water bag bust, it is, ooh, I just tried to stay focused, I'm not gonna lie, but I knew I needed that Pitocin off, because at that point, I'm at 10. I am at 10, so they wound up checking me to make sure I was at 10 centimeters, and they was like, oh, everybody was in awe. Like, how? Wow. Everybody was just in total shock. Like, she just had a natural induction. She went from 1 to 3 to 10. How? So it was just a beautiful experience. It was. And my doctor wasn't there at that moment. We had to wait, and when I waited, it felt like every time the contractions came, I was trying not to push, but I had no other choice but to push, because that feeling, baby, that is a new feeling that I have never felt in my life. But I was constantly reminded that this is the gift of life that's about to come out of me. This is everything I wanted, everything I hoped for. Even though it didn't go exactly how I planned it, it still worked out. God still worked it out for me. He said, you want to be at 7, I'm going to give you 10. How about that? And we're going to be out of here. It was a beautiful experience. By the time my doctor did get there, I had like 3 or 4 big contractions. And by the time she got there, my contractions slowed down. So they had to turn the Pitocin back up to get my contractions to come. I pushed 8 times. And by the time I got to that 9th push, because I had to really focus and remember, the pain that I feel, the pressure that I feel is what I need to feel for her to come out. Because at one point I was just like, oh, her head, I gotta poo. Because her head was literally right there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta poo. They was like, no. That's the baby's head. You got this. It's almost, she's right there. She's right there. And that's after I heard she's right there, I just went. I pushed and I gave it my all. And I just want to encourage somebody out there and let them know that you can do it. It's going to be hard, but you can do it. Everything in life is hard. Everything in life is a challenge and a new experience, a new feeling. So if you want it bad enough, you're going to get through. You're going to get through. And in the end, it's a beautiful life that you just brought into this world. And just to know that I experienced a natural birth like I wanted, because mostly all my friends had C-sections. And I just was so against it, because I'm like, well, I know things happen, and you can't control everything. Like my birth plan didn't go exactly how I wanted it to go, and you can't control that. Things happen unexpectedly. I wanted to get through it and fight through it, and I knew I could, because I've experienced, some things in my life, and I know that if I can get through that, I can get through what I was made and created to do. So I just want to let you know, ladies out there, you are beautiful. What's inside of you is beautiful, and that experience is beautiful. So I hope this encourages you to go through childbirth naturally in the most raw way possible that you possibly can. And it's a beautiful journey. Motherhood is a beautiful journey, and we can do this. So here is my sweet little angel, the love of my life. This is my Zuri. She's smiling. Say hello, world. She's sleeping and I'm disturbing her. Say hello, world. Hello. You waving? Say hello. Hey, mama. Mommy disturbing you, huh? Oh, and you're puking all over mommy. You puking all over mommy. Oh, mama. Oh, mama. I'm trying to rest and you disturbing me. So if you all would like tips, advice on natural childbirth, breastfeeding, new mommy advice, be sure to leave it in the comment section below, and I will love to film it. This is my 25 hours of labor, baby. No sleep, no food. She wanted to stay in. She wanted to stay inside of the womb and not come out until she was ready. But I'm so in love with my daughter. This experience is so rewarding.